Rutherford Issues with Brian Barrett on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna. Listen and watch at WGNSradio.com.
And today's Rutherford Issues program here on WGNS is made possible by our friends at Middle Tennessee Electric. You know, when it comes to getting those critical updates, MTE wants to reach out to you right away. So they can't do that if they don't have your correct information. So I'm talking like phone number, email address. I did this. I kept preaching this word to check and make sure. And I thought, well, I need to do that. Turns out the first home that I bought 25 years ago, it was the landline phone number that they had. So there was no way that they could reach me for those critical updates and information. So don't be like me, or I guess be like me and eventually check, but do it now. That way you're always in the know about what's happening with Middle Tennessee Electric. Well, we're going to find out today about the Legal Aid Society. Laura Metzger joins us. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to have you.
Thank you for having us.
Well, before we go anywhere, introduce the interns that you have with you today.
So I work at the Murfreesboro office of the Legal Aid Society, and we're very lucky this summer to have 4 interns working with us. Only 2 are here today, so we have Fergus Barnes and Isla Mehta. They're both law students at Belmont University, and we're really lucky to have them helping us out this summer.
Well, they're going to get to do the rest of the entire interview, so no, I'm just kidding. I just saw a little fear in their eye this morning.
Like being cold called in law school.
That's right. That's right. Isn't that fun? We have to do a little, make interns nervous, right?
Yeah.
So you work a lot with interns and with Belmont, and just it's number one, great experience, and number two, I'm sure a lot of help.
Yes, we're very lucky to have such a great relationship with Belmont, and we're lucky too that we have so many law schools close to us, because there's Nashville School of Law and Vanderbilt all in Nashville along with Belmont. So we're lucky to have a good relationship with law students so they can get the experience, and we can hopefully have people who get more of an interest to work in nonprofit law when they graduate.
Yeah, that has to be a challenge when there are other things out there and higher paying jobs, I'm sure. When you put nonprofit in front of anything, you're probably talking a little pay hit, huh?
Yeah, a little bit, but I think legal aid is a great place to work. They offer a lot of other benefits, and if you have a passion for serving others and helping others in need, I think it's a great fit. You betcha.
So I tell you this every time, and when I hear Legal Aid Society, I just think about a bunch of lawyers in a smoke-filled room, sipping on their favorite drink or whatever, but that's not what the Legal Aid Society is it?
No, so we do have good relationships with private attorneys and other nonprofit attorneys, but what we do is we're a nonprofit law firm. We're actually the biggest in Tennessee because we have 8 offices, and we're all one firm, but we serve over 50 counties in Middle Tennessee and the Cumberlands, and we help low-income individuals or vulnerable individuals make sure that they're able to defend their civil needs, and making sure they're not getting taken advantage of in the court system.
So there are probably many areas of expertise and things that you all work on. Maybe give us some examples of the work that folks listening out there might be able to take advantage of if they find themselves in need.
Yeah, so in my office, there's 4 attorneys. I'm the family law attorney, so helping domestic violence survivors gain independence and safety through divorces and orders of protection. We also have an attorney who focuses on health and benefits. So if you've had a denial from TennCare, or you're having problems with Social Security, or you're not getting food stamps and you think you should be, she can help with those kind of issues. She also helps with special education. So if your child's not getting the services they need through their school, that's something that she could check into and see if it's something we could help out with. Elise, our other attorney, she is a jack of all trades. She does a little bit of everything. So she helps with bankruptcy, consumer protection, tax, housing. So if you've been evicted, or if you're living in somewhere where you have a housing voucher or low-income housing, and you feel like you're being evicted or having problems, she can see if it's something we can help with, or give you advice on what your next steps might be.
Well, that is just a very broad brush. So just know And if you happen to be catching the program and your keywords threw this into your algorithm on wherever you're watching or listening, and maybe you're in Clarksville or Columbia or Cookeville or Gallatin or Oak Ridge or Nashville, Tullahoma, and of course Murfreesboro, Rutherford County. That's where you're spread out, huh?
Yes, and we have experts in all other sorts of fields too throughout the firm. So even if it's something that we might not be able to help you with, we can always tap into that wealth of knowledge. And something I forgot to mention, we also do help with expungement work. So helping people clean up their records so they can get better jobs and better housing.
So Laura Metzger joining us today with Legal Aid Society. Probably several folks know you from the what do you call it, legal clinics that you do on occasion?
Yes. So in Murfreesboro, we do a legal clinic with in partnership with Greenhouse Ministries. And so that's once a month. You can come in and get advice from private attorneys who volunteer their time or attorneys from our office who are there. You can get free legal advice. Even if it's something we can't help you with, maybe the private attorneys have that information. And we're very lucky. The Rutherford County Bar Association has a great group of attorneys who want to volunteer their time and want to help other individuals. So we're really lucky to have that participation here in our county.
Before we kind of dive down into a few specifics, I want to make sure that you know their website is las.org. So that stands for Legal Aid Society, las.org. And every time I go to the site, I remember doing an interview 20 years ago. And we were talking about, the button at the top of the page, the quick escape button,
Yes.
and its significance and what it's about, because we don't know some of the situations that people are in and they're looking to get some type of help. And we're going to talk about domestic violence awareness today. And that I vividly remember even to this day of the reason for that. And if you're not in those situations, maybe you don't understand, but that's why that quick escape button is there.
Right. And like you said, a lot of people, we're fortunate we don't have to think about being in a domestic violence situation, but if you are searching for help, having that quick escape can, if you feel like your partner or the person who's abusing you is looking over your shoulder, it's easy to click that button and then they don't have access to seeing what you were looking into and if you're trying to get help to leave an unsafe situation.
Well, October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, but it's always a good opportunity anytime to talk about domestic violence and just to kind of shine a light on what is a big societal issue that it doesn't matter what area, high income, low income. I mean, it affects our communities greatly.
And that's something that I think a lot of people don't understand. This can affect any gender, any sexuality, any socioeconomic status, religious affiliation, race, age. This happens to everyone. This isn't an issue that only affects one group of people, and it doesn't always look like maybe someone's hitting you or strangling you. That is certainly domestic violence, but what it really boils down to is exerting control over another person in a way that's unsafe and unhealthy. So that can be cutting you off from your friends and family, keeping control of your finances, not letting you have access to finances, being really jealous and really controlling over the people you surround yourself with and not letting you have access to people that you're surrounding yourself with. Or, if you're religious, controlling your access to church or manipulating how others in the church see you, and isolating you. So there's a lot of different ways domestic violence can happen, and it's not just being hit or slapped or...
Yeah. You mentioned age and race and sexual orientation, religion. One of those that you may be surprised to hear is also gender, because it's probably underreported, but the domestic violence against men is probably, obviously the statistics show it higher, but all races, I mean, just everything, it can make a difference there.
Yeah. And I do think all domestic violence is underreported because there's a lot of shame, and maybe it's something I did, and I've been told by this person who's doing this to me that this is my fault for these behaviors. So it does affect, and I think there's even more shame for male survivors because I'm supposed to be tough, I'm supposed to be this or that, but anyone can experience this, and just because you're not being punched or hit or slapped doesn't mean you're not experienced domestic violence.
Yeah. Isn't that, you think about the underreporting, and it may be a lack of awareness, which is why we're talking about it now, but it also is probably thinking that domestic violence is physical abuse, but before we get to physical abuse, there could be many years and years of emotional abuse, that controlling behavior that leads up to the physical part, right?
Right, and that can be just as dangerous if you get to a place where you don't have any self-worth and you're getting all of your self-worth from someone who's constantly cutting you down. It makes it even harder to say, I deserve to get out of this situation. I deserve a healthy relationship if that's all you think that there is. And then also the financial aspect. If you don't have the means to get out of this situation, it's very hard. And if that person is controlling your finances and they tell you that, I'm not going to give you any money, or if you have children with this person, they say, I'm going to take the kids, I'm going to have custody, nobody's going to believe you. It can be really hard to leave. And I think it's, in a black and white world, it's easy to say, well, why wouldn't you leave if someone's treating you that way, if someone's abusing you and doing these things? Why would you stay? It's not black and white in those situations.
Yeah, and think about just in maybe that example, a wife and 3 kids who are in an abusive home. Where do they go? What kind of help?
Right.
And she's not only thinking about herself, but also the 3 children.
Right.
Right.
And I just want people to know there is help. There's help in this county and in this city. We cover Rutherford and Cannon County, but like I said, legal aid covers over 50 counties in Middle Tennessee. There's other legal aid organizations in East Tennessee, West Tennessee that are great. There's other organizations besides legal aid who are here to help and who are great resources. The Domestic Violence Sexual Assault Center here in Murfreesboro is an amazing resource. They have great people working there. If you ever feel like you're unsafe, I highly recommend calling them. You can call legal aid. There's a Tennessee domestic violence hotline. There's a national domestic violence hotline. There are so many people who want to help and who want to give you that way to leave safely and to protect you and your children if you have them.
Well, locally, we have such great resources. We've talked to Domestic Violence Sexual Assault Center for decades, and their work has really been pioneering here in Rutherford County. And as we've grown, it has grown with it as well. So there are resources out there. What are some of the signs of abuse?
Some of the signs, it can start off as really controlling behavior. So, if you're going out with your friends, they're texting you the whole time, or, making it so you can't really enjoy that time, or you were home 5 minutes late. Where were you? What were you doing? Who are you with? Constantly accusing you of cheating on them, or, controlling the finances. Oh, your paycheck needs to go in my bank account. I'm better with finances. It can be, oh, I don't want that friend coming around. Oh, you shouldn't wear that. It's all of these signs of control and exerting that control over you. That's a sign of abuse, and that's a sign that it could lead to something much more dangerous.
I'm sure that there are, within the 4 walls of a home, threats. Whatever the abuser can do to keep you under their control.
Right. And I think it's hard too because people aren't doing this out in the open. They're not doing it in front of other people. So then it's hard when you're trying to leave and it's like, well, what evidence do I even have? This is what this person did to me in our home, but nobody else was there to see it. So it can feel hard to think anyone would believe you. And if you've been told nobody's going to believe you, nobody's going to care, it's even harder to feel like there's somebody who wants to help.
Yeah. And you think about technology that we have even in homes today of, Ring doorbell cameras and, there's a camera everywhere.
Right.
Anywhere you go, you should realize you're probably on camera somewhere, right?
Right.
But, in these homes, maybe some of that is disabled inside or, but at least there are more avenues now. And I think awareness and technology, all of these things are kind of working together, hopefully to give more evidence, if you will.
Right. And I think the flip side of that is sometimes those can be used as a way to abuse too.
True.
Hey, I saw you were home 5 minutes late, or I saw you left for 20 minutes. Where did you go? I'm constantly watching you. And so then you might feel like, oh, I can't leave because they're watching me, and they control all the finances. They control this. They've told me they're going to keep me from seeing my kids.
Or you have that technology in your pocket with the phone that's a tracker.
The tracking.
Mm-hmm.
So I think these tools are amazing, but they also can be used by abusers, because usually abusers are, they're really charismatic in person. So, they're the Facebook mom and dads. They're posting everything. Everybody's like, oh, this person's so great. And so then it can feel even harder, where it's like everybody else loves this person, and then I'm seeing a different side. So, why would people believe me if they see this great person who's, a pillar of society?
Well, there are resources there. LAS.org for the Legal Aid Society is where I encourage you to visit and make sure that you have just know that there is help out there. Mm-hmm. And Laura, thanks for coming in today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Laura Metzger joining us today with the Legal Aid Society here on Rutherford Issues from WGNS.